بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ولي الصالحين وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد فنحمد الله ونشكره على ما أعطانا من النعم الكثيرة. We thank Allah, we praise Him upon the blessings, the many blessings that He has given us. We thank Allah that we're able to go through the stories of the prophets, and we are looking at Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, and we have already started with two lessons regarding Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. And the third lesson and the last lesson regarding Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, we continue the story whereby Shaykh Abdurahman Nasir rahimahullah said, ثم إن الله أتم النعمة على إبراهيم ورحم زوجته سارة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala completed His favors upon Ibrahim, favors upon favors that He has given him before, and completed His favors. Not only did Hajara give birth to Ismail, but also his first wife, Sarah, she eventually gave birth, even though she was old and he was old. And there's a story about this actually, when angels came to Ibrahim alayhi in the form of men, and they came as guests to give him this glad tidings of that he will have a child. He will have a child, and that child is going to be Ishaq from Sarah. And Sarah, as you know, she wasn't able to give birth. And she chose Hajar, her servant, and their servant girl, to be wedded by Ibrahim alayhi because she considered herself not able to give birth. And so she sacrificed herself in order for her servant girl to be Ibrahim alayhi wife. So that sacrifice, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded her for that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewarded her. Sarah eventually gave birth to Ishaq and to a nation, because from Ishaq came many prophets and messengers. Just like from Ismail alayhi came Prophet Musa, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, from the lineage of Ismail. So Ishaq was born, and just before he was born, that bishara, that glad tidings came from those angels which were guests. Allah mentions Surah Al-Dhariyat. When they came to his house, they were not eating, and he said to them, أَلَا تَأْكُلُونَ? Don't you eat? Eat. He's serving them. And Shaykh Abdurahman Nasir says, look, he served them with his own hands, with his own self. And he was concerned for them that they should eat. This is how we should be. Ibrahim ﷺ was an ummah, was righteous, was hanif, Musliman, was upright, swaying away from shirk upon tawheed. And he was upon the Muslims. Look at the example, uswa hasana, a beautiful example in Ibrahim, that he was kind to his guests. Na'am, ala ta'kulun. He said, don't you eat? In Surah Hud, verse 70, فَلَمَّا رَأَى أَيْدِيَهُمْ لَا تَصِلُ إِلَيْهِ نَكِرَهُمْ وَأَوْجَسَ مِنْهُمْ خِيفَةً. So when he saw that they were not actually eating and not actually going forward to eat, he realized that actually they were not human beings, and he became afraid. And Surah Hud, verse 70. Surah Hud, verse 70. where he realized that they're not actually humans. They're not humans. And he became afraid. No. I'll just bring you the... somebody can be with me here, just for the... Zahud, please. Surah Hud. Please just give me Hud 70. Why did he become afraid? Because he thought that they were actually thieves. Shaykh Abdurahman Nasir says, because when he saw that they were not eating food, he said, maybe they have some evil with them. I've invited you for food and you're not eating. Maybe they are thieves. Maybe they're going to harm me. But when he saw their hands went not towards the meal, he mistrusted them and conceived a fear from them. They said, fear not, we have been sent against the people of Lot. Naam. So that was also what they have been sent for, the people of Lot. But here, Shaykh Abdurahman Nasir rahimahullah said, he feared that they were actually thieves. He feared that they were come to take money from him or take whatever from him. فإن الضيف إذا أكل من طعام رب المنزل اطمأن إليه وأنس به. Of course, if somebody invite him to your house and he doesn't eat, unless he's fasting, it makes you feel bad, doesn't it? It makes you feel, why is he not eating? Maybe he doesn't trust me. And also I don't trust him. So that's what transpired. Naam. Ibn al-Qayyim mentions that in Risal Tabukiyya. He said this is something which is not normal. You invite him for food and he doesn't eat. فَقَالُوا لَا تَخَفْ إِنَّا أُرْسِلْنَا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِ لُوطٍ. They said, don't be afraid. We have been sent to the people of Lut. And also, they have been sent to give a bishara, to give glad tidings to Ibrahim ﷺ, that we have children, that he will have children from Sarah, yani a child from Sarah. And it was said, and you can read the next verse 71 and 72, وَامْرَأَتُهُ قَائِمَةٌ فَضَحِكَتْ فَبَشَّرْنَاهَا بِإِسْحَاقَ وَمِنْ وَرَاءِ إِسْحَاقَ يَعْقُوبَ. And his wife was standing there and she laughed, even because the messengers did not eat, yani those who came to visit did not eat their food, or for being glad for the destruction of the people of Lot. But we gave her glad tidings of Ishaq, and after Ishaq, Yaqub. And of course, after Yaqub is who? Yusuf alayhi salam. So she gave birth to a nation, not just to a prophet. She gave birth to a nation. Allah raised her. She was patient. She said in astonishment, woe to me, shall I bear a child while I am old? While I'm an old woman, and here is my husband, an old man. Verily this is something strange. قالت يا ويلتا أألد وأنا عجوز وهذا بعلي شيخا إن هذا لشيء عجيب. قالوا أتعجبين من أمر الله أتعجبين من أمر الله أتعجبين من أمر الله. Are you amazed and find it strange? Are you amazed with the decree of Allah? If Allah wills something, He says kun fayakun. That you are old and He wills that you have a child, be and it is. Adam alayhi salam, he was created miraculously with no father and no mother. Allah said be and he was. Isa alayhi salam without a father, and that's why always in the Quran you find Isa ibn Maryam, Isa ibn Maryam, Isa ibn Maryam alayhi salam. So the mercy of Allah and His blessings be upon you, O family of Ibrahim. Allah said, Rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu alaykum ahl al-bayt innahu hamidun majid. And here Ahl al-Bayt is referring to the family of Ibrahim, because that's the context. But the Rafida Shia, they say this refers to the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And we know and we love, Ahl Sunnah love the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But this verse does not refer to them. This verse refers to the family of Ibrahim alayhi salam. فلما ذهب عن إبراهيم الروع وجاءته البشرى يجادلنا في قوم لوط. And when the fear had gone away from the mind of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and the glad tidings had reached him, he began to plead with us, yani our messengers, for the people of Lot. Verily Ibrahim was without doubt forbearing, used to invoking Allah with humility. Inna Ibrahim la halimun awwahum munib, showing you the qualities and the characteristic of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, the characteristics of Ibrahim, and he was repentant to Allah all the time, again and again. And that's what inaba means. He was munib. Munib from inaba means continuous repentance. Ya Ibrahim a'rid an hada innahu qad jaa amru rabbik wa innahum atihim adabun ghayru mardud. When Ibrahim, he supplicated for his father to be forgiven, Allah said, "O Ibrahim, leave this. Indeed, the commandment of your Lord has gone forth. Verily, there will come a torment for them which cannot be turned back." And also for the people of Lot, when the time came for them to be punished, no one can stop the punishment of Allah upon those people, for they have transgressed. And we come to the story of Nabiuna Lot alayhi salatu wasalam, the Prophet Lot, after we finished the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. So Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, he was halim, he was awwab, he was munib, he was forbearing and kind, and he was also he was upright on Tawheed, and he called to Tawheed, and he was firm, and he was strong in that which he believed in Tawheed. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him and his wife Sarah, his first wife Sarah, with a child Ishaq, even at an old age. فبشرهما بإسحاق وأنه يعيش ويولد له يعقوب ويدركانه. Then he will have also Yaqub, and also they will live to see Yaqub. So it wasn't just Ishaq, but also Yaqub will be given to them as a grandchild, as a grandson, and he is also a prophet. ولهذا حمد الله إبراهيم على تمام نعمته وقال, and this is why Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam thanked Allah, praised Allah for the completeness of his blessings upon him, and said, Alhamdulillah الذي وهب لي على الكبر إسماعيل وإسحاق إن ربي لسميع الدعاء. Praising Allah that He has blessed him even upon an old age, blessed him with Ismail and Ishaq. Indeed, your Lord is Sami'ud Du'a. He listens to those who supplicate to him. Continue with Ibrahim alayhi salatu salam. After that, the great Mufassir Shaykh Abdurahman Nasir rahimahullah, he said, ليعلم أن جميع ما قصه الله علينا من سيرة إبراهيم صلى الله عليه وسلم فإننا مأمورون به أمرا خاصا. That wherever we learn and read from the biography and the seerah of Ibrahim alayhi salatu salam, then those benefits that we derive from that, they are for us specifically. They are for us. We are commanded, not just he is commanded, but we are commanded also with that which he is commanded with. Millata abikum Ibrahim. As Allah said, that this is the path of your father Ibrahim. Surah Al-Hajj verse 78. And that means, Millata abikum Ibrahim, ilzamuha. Hold on to it. That millah of Ibrahim, which is Al-Ikhlas, which is Tawheed, that he was Hanif, he was upright, not turning to others besides Allah, making your heart, making your heart a heart that is sincere to worship Allah alone. And likewise Allah mentions Surah Al-Nahl verse 1-3, ثُمَّ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ أَنِ اتَّبِعْ مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حَنِيفًا. Then thereafter Allah revealed to you that you follow the path of Ibrahim, that path which is Hanifa, that is upright. And he, Ibrahim alayhi salam, is upright. قَدْ كَانَتْ لَكُمْ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Indeed, in Ibrahim there is a beautiful example. في إبراهيم والذين معه, with Ibrahim and those with him. إِذْ قَالُوا لِقَوْمِهِمْ, until the end of the verse. So here in Mumtahina verse 4, showing you that his path is a beautiful path, a beautiful example he was to the people that in his time and those who came after his time. فما هو عليه من توحيد والأصول فما هو عليه من توحيد والأصول والعقائد والأخلاق وجميع ما قص علينا أو ما قص علينا من نبأه. So everything that Allah told us about his life, his patience, his aqidah, his belief, his manners, his tawheed, his foundations that he was upon, all of that what Allah told us about is with news from the Quran, then indeed that is for us to follow. فَإِنَّ اتِّبَاعَنَا إِيَّاهِ مِن دِينِنَا. So following him, our following of Ibrahim ﷺ is from our deen. To follow him in tawheed, in ikhlas. This doesn't mean that we do not follow the Messenger ﷺ. We follow Rasulullah ﷺ, but that which Ibrahim ﷺ was upon is the same as what Rasulullah ﷺ was upon, is the same what Isa ﷺ was upon in terms of the fundamentals of this deen. The call was one. تِلْكَ الرُّسُلُ فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. Yes, such are the messengers, we have raised some over others. That's true. But Allah said, لَا نُفَرِّقُ بَيْنَ أَحَدٍ مِّن رُسُلِهِ. We do not separate between any one of his messengers. We do not separate in terms of their call, in terms of their methodology. Is one. They gave importance to ibadah, to ikhlas, to worshiping Allah alone. And so we follow him in following the sunnah. Sunnah meaning the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He called us to follow him in tawheed, in aqidah, and the fundamentals. ولهذا لما كان هذا أمرا عاما لأحواله كلها استثنى الله حالة من أحواله فقال إلا قول إبراهيم لأبيه لأستغفرن لك. Except for one thing we don't follow him, and that is when Ibrahim ﷺ sought forgiveness for his father Azara, his father who was an idol worshipper, a mushrik, a polytheist. And Ibrahim ﷺ called him with beautiful preaching. And he called him, you can read it in the last part of Surah Maryam. In the last part of Surah Maryam, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he mentions about how Ibrahim ﷺ spoke to his father with beautiful preaching. And I will just read it to you. وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ إِنَّهُ كَانَ صِدِّيقًا نَبِيًّا. And mention and remember in the book, in the Quran, the story of Ibrahim. In verily, or indeed, he was a man of truth, a prophet. إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ لِمَا تَعْبُدُ مَا لَا يَسْمَعُ وَلَا يُبْصِرُ وَلَا يُغْنِ عَنْكَ شَيْئًا. When he said to his father, "Oh my father, why do you worship that which hears not, sees not, and cannot avail you in anything?" إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ. Look at the way, the manner that he spoke to his father, addressing him, Ya Abati, Ya Abati. And throughout the whole of this adab, of this akhlaq of Ibrahim ﷺ, how he conversed and discussed with his father, Ya Abati, Ya Abati. Showing you his manner, his beautiful preaching with Ibrahim, with his father, even though his father was a mushrik. إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ لِمَا تَعْبُدُ مَا لَا يَسْمَعُ. Look at how he's addressing him. Why do you worship that which cannot hear, that which cannot see, that which cannot give you any help? لا يغني عنك شيئا, in the least. يا أبتي إني قد جاءني من العلم ما لم يأتك فاتبعني. Oh my father, has come to me knowledge that which has not reached you, so follow me. أهدك صراطا سويا, and I will lead you to that path which is upright. That's Sirat al-Mustaqim. Ibrahim's path, Tawheed, Tawheed of that time, the Sunnah of Ibrahim, is to worship Allah alone, not to worship these idols, not to call upon these idols, not to rely upon other than Allah. So follow me, I will guide you to a straight path. The Hidayatul Bayan wal Irshad, guidance of clarification and giving news, giving the details of that guidance. Ya Abati, la ta'budi shaitan. Oh my father, don't worship shaitan. Inna ash-shaytana kana lir-Rahmani 'asiyya. Indeed, shaitan has been a rebel against the most gracious Allah. Inna ash-shaytan kana lir-Rahman, to ar-Rahman, he is 'asiyya, disobedient. He turned away he rejected the command of Allah to bow down to Adam, and he is there given an appointed time to follow you and me, to lead us astray. So don't worship shaitan, don't follow shaitan. Don't follow the footsteps of shaitan. He's a clear enemy. Don't take him as a guide, don't take him as a wali, don't take him as an aid, a friend or companion. He will lead you astray. Ya abati inni akhafu an yamassaka adabun min ar-Rahman. Oh my father, I fear that punishment will touch you, will overcome you from ar-Rahman. Why? Because if you die upon shirk, you will be in the hellfire forever. فَتَكُونَ لِلشَّيْطَانِ وَلِيًّا, and you will be a companion of a shaitan in the hellfire. Yani you will be with the shaitan as well. قَالَ أَرَاغِبٌ أَنْتَ عَنْ آلِهَتِي يَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ. So his father replied to him, do you reject my gods, O Ibrahim? Then he said to him, لَإِن لَمْ تَنْتَهِ لَأَرْجُمَنَّكَ وَهْجُرْنِ مَلِيًّا. If you don't stop this, calling me to leave off my idols, leave off the way of my forefathers, I will indeed stone you. So get away from me safely before I punish you. قَالَ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكَ. So even though his father rebuked him, look at how Ibrahim replied to him, alayhi salatu salam. Salamun alayk. Ibrahim said, peace be on you. Sa'astaghfiru laka rabbi. I will seek forgiveness of my Lord for you. And that is what we don't follow Ibrahim in, seeking forgiveness for the people of shirk. But we can call upon Allah for their guidance. That is allowed. Allah yahdihim. For those who have non-Muslim parents, Allah yahdihim. And you can, and you're supposed to be righteous to them. No doubt. وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِمَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِعِلْمٍ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. If they call you to do shirk, to do evil, don't obey them in that, but be good companions to them in the dunya. Na'am, be good companions to them, as Allah mentioned Surah Luqman. Then he continued, إِنَّهُ كَانَ بِي حَفِيًّا. He said, my Lord, I will ask forgiveness from my Lord for you. Verily he is to me ever most gracious. Then Ibrahim ﷺ continued, he said, وَأَعْتَزِلُكُمْ وَمَا تَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ وَأَدْعُوا رَبِّي عَسَىٰ أَلَّا أَكُونَ بِدُعَاءِ رَبِّي شَقِيًّا. I shall turn away from you and from those whom you invoke besides Allah, and I shall call upon my Lord, and I hope that I shall not be unblessed in my invocation to my Lord. Naam. So that was the call of Ibrahim ﷺ to his father. And there were so many stories, so many benefits from that discourse, how Ibrahim ﷺ was gentle with his father. And this should be for each and every one of us who has parents. We be gentle with them, we be kind with them. How is it your father, he used to pay the bills for you. He gave you shelter. He used to go out early in the morning to work for you, to educate you, to aid you, to clothe you, to feed you, all of that, and then you turn away when you get older. And then you think you have reached a level higher than your father, and you think you've reached a level where you can rebuke your father. A'udhu billah. This is a person who's so ungrateful, a person who doesn't have shukr, a person who is wretched, who is evil to his parents. A person is wretched, and he's a person who has not been blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he should answer them back, that he should belittle them, that he should look down upon them. You don't even sit in the place where they're supposed to sit, in the house. Even some of the Salaf, when they would be afraid, if they ate with their parents, they would be afraid to eat a morsel that their parents were looking at. To that extent. They're afraid that they will eat something that their parents were looking at it, and so they took something that their parents desired, yani from the halal. So look at that, ya ikhwan. Salaf were different. The Sahaba radiallahu anhu were different. They had honor and respect. Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, how he had respect for his father. He knew the answer of the date palm tree. When the Prophet ﷺ said, which tree is like the believer? Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu knew the answer, but he didn't answer. Respect and honor for his father. He didn't want to speak, and he had shyness in that which is good. وَالْحَيَاءُ كُلُّهُ خَيْرٌ. And all of that is good. وَلِلَّهِ الْحَمْدِ. And look how his manner was. And likewise you find many of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, if you look at their lives and how they were as young companions, they had respect. They had respect for their for their parents. So Ibrahim ﷺ, he supplicated for his father to be guided, and he sought forgiveness for his father, and that was the mistake, that we do not seek forgiveness for the mushrikeen. So do not follow him in that. Naam. And that actually, Shaykh Abdurahman Nasir said, the istighfar of Ibrahim for his father actually was because of a promise that he promised him with. So it was only actually to fulfill a promise. So he said what he said, Naam, but when he clarified to him that he's not supposed to say that, he desisted. And he sought, tabarra'a min, he left it and he didn't continue seeking forgiveness for his father. And this is the way of the repentful one. This is the one who turns back to the truth. As soon as he knows the truth, he comes back. And Ibrahim ﷺ was a great example for that. وَمِنْهَا أَنَّ اللَّهَ اتَّخَذَهُ خَلِيلًا. Allah took Ibrahim as a Khalil. And only two Allah took as a Khalil. The Rasul ﷺ and Ibrahim. Khalil. وَالْخُلَّةُ أَعْلَى دَرَجَاتِ الْمَحَبَّةِ. And that's the highest level of love. So not only did Allah love Ibrahim ﷺ and Rasulullah ﷺ, but they were considered to be Khalilullah. They had that khulla, that higher level than the love. Allah showed them higher level than that, than just love. وهذه المرتبة لم تحصل لأحد من الخلق. And this is not for anyone else except those two from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's messengers. ومنها, and from the blessings that Allah blessed Ibrahim ﷺ were from the blessings Allah blessed Ibrahim with, ما أكرمه الله به من الكرامات المتنوعة جعل في ذريته النبوة. He blessed him that in his children, the two sons, came prophets. From Ismail came the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from that lineage, and from Ishaq, Yaqub and Yusuf alayhi salam. وأخرج من صلبه أمتين, two nations that came out from his loins, from Bani Israel. And Allah chose him to build the Kaaba. And we mentioned that in the first two lessons. Allah chose him and his son Ismail to build the Kaaba, that house of Allah which is placed there for the people to come from different parts of the world, from far and wide, to come to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is indeed praise for Ibrahim alayhi salam. And from it, Allah raised him in knowledge and certainty and quwwatul al-hujjah, and the strong proof that he had in sufficing those he argued with. So for example, when he argued or when he disputed with his father Azar, and the people, the mushrikun, he said to them, when he saw the moon, when he saw the stars, when he saw the sun, all of that set, he said, how are you going to worship? How can you worship those that set? How can you worship those that disappear? Those that cannot come to you and answer your call? Those that cannot help you and remove harm and bring about good? How can you call upon them? And he used those arguments against them. So Allah gave him that hujjah. وَتِلْكَ حُجَّتُنَا أَتَيْنَاهَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ عَلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ نَرْفَعُ دَرَجَاتٍ مَنْ نَشَاءُ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ حَكِيمٌ عَلِيمٌ. That's the hujjah. وَتِلْكَ hujjah. Allah gave Ibrahim to his people. And that is the hujjah of clarifying the truth to suffice them that they cannot answer. That is the hujjah. And Shaykh Sa'di rahimahullah, in that verse, he said that hujjah Allah gives it to the prophets and messengers, and likewise He gives it to the ulama. Allah raises them. نَرْفَعُ دَرَجَاتٍ مَنْ نَشَاءُ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ حَكِيمٌ عَلِيمٌ. Allah raises the prophets and messengers, and those that follow them, the ulama, Allah raises them. Because Allah raises them with what? With dunya? No. Allah raises them with the hujjah, the proof. Allah gives them the quwwatul istidlal. And you see that with the ulama. You see with Shaykh Rabi', for example, is writing in newspapers, answering the doubts of those who bring doubts, and Shaykh Salih Fawzan answering newspapers and clarifying to the people, to the general masses. And likewise you see in their books quwwatul hujjah, as if you are alive when you're reading them. Alive meaning your heart is alive, attentive, with the strong proofs that have been established, with the Quranic verses that have been explained with the tafasir of the Salaf, wallahi, is as if you are alive. Yani your heart is alive. And wallahi, when you read some of the others, besides the scholars, the innovators, as if you're reading something and your heart is dead. Yani as if it's not for the living. This is not for the living. What will bring your life, your heart alive? What will bring your heart to be attentive? Is you turn back to the Quran and Sunnah. That is what will give you life. That is what will give you happiness. وَتِلْكَ حُجَّتُنَا أَتَيْنَاهَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ عَلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ نَرْفَعُ دَرَجَاتٍ مَنْ نَشَاءُ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ حَكِيمٌ عَلِيمٌ. Read the books of the Salaf. Go read, for example, Tawheed, وإثبات صفات الرب of Ibn Khuzaymah. All of it is قال الله قال رسول الله. You see, the Salaf, the people of the scholars of the past, they used to write little and concise and stick to the narrations. Nowadays, in the latter days, people talk much and don't stick to the narrations. They bring lots of opinions from themselves and they go astray and they lead others astray.